Good afternoon. We finally made it to Friday. Thanks so much for joining us here on the Noon News. I'm Samantha Sullivan. The U.S.-China trade war escalated overnight with the U.S. raising tariffs or taxes on billions of dollars worth of items made in China but sold in the U.S. Natalie Brandt has more details from the White House.
Trade talks between China and the U.S. are done for today. Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin called the talks constructive before he and Trade Representative Robert Lighthizer headed to the White House. Overnight, the U.S. raised tariffs on $200 billion worth of Chinese-made goods, from 10% to 25%. The president tweeting, "Tariffs will make our country much stronger, not weaker. Just sit back and watch. In the meantime, China should not renegotiate deals with the U.S. at the last minute."
We were getting very close to a deal. Then they started to renegotiate the deal. We can't have that. We can't have that.
If no deal can be reached, then President Trump says he's prepared to put a 25% tariff on another $325 billion worth of Chinese-made goods. That would impact everything China ships to the U.S.
China says it will respond with countermeasures, likely higher tariffs on U.S.-made goods. And while Beijing has not announced which products could be targeted, U.S. farmers already being impacted by trade tensions could be hit even harder.
Doug Onstad is a farmer in Polk County, Iowa. He says some of his neighbors say they will have to sell their farms if the U.S. and China can't agree to a deal.
There's a lot of guys that, their brokers have been telling them to hang on, and this thing's going to get better when the deal gets done.
The new tariffs on Chinese goods could be passed on to consumers if they remain in effect for an extended period of time. But President Trump says that may not be a bad thing.
Businesses will pour back into our country, so instead of making the product, it'll be the old-fashioned way, the way we used to do it. We made our own product.
The president tweeted to manufacturers this morning saying, "Build your products in the United States, and there are no tariffs." Natalie Brandt, CBS News, the White House.
The Consumer Price Index released Friday morning showed a modest increase in prices Americans pay, led by rising costs for gasoline, rent, and healthcare costs. However, inflation remains tame.